Hi, it's me. Oh my goodness. So let's see. It is Sunday night, November 15th, 2020, 9:19 p.m. My name's Jared Earl Casey, Jarrett Casey, and I'm up at my parents' house in Ogden, Utah. I might be staying up here every other Sunday night because I'm going to have a counseling appointment Monday mornings. I was keeping them on Tuesday mornings, but now they're going to be on Monday mornings. So I have one tomorrow. And I'm also doing a lineup at the police department for a suspect that to try and identify the suspect that molested me when I was 13 years old. So I had tried to find the house, and I think I found it, and I gave the detective the address, and he said he came up with a possible suspect. So we will see. But anyway, so I'm here tonight. And today I got up, I went to the gym. I had forgotten my gym shoes, so I bought some more. But the ones I have are 11 years old. Had them for 11 years. They're great shoes, but I've been thinking about buying new ones in the next year. So I thought, well, I'll just go get some, and then I'll have two pairs. I can have a pair here and a pair there, or whatever that is. But of course, in my head, they're like, shouldn't spend the money, shouldn't spend the money, but I did it anyways, and so that's okay. Um, so then I went to the gym and came home, picked up some leaves with my mom in the front lawn, and then I felt really depressed. Today I haven't been. I promise I have great thoughts in my mind sometimes, but today was tough. Um, I was just really hearing a lot of defeatist messaging that just about the rest of my life. Uh, they keep saying there's people up there, but not up there, who are trying to determine the rest of my life, I guess. I didn't realize that there was this whole other side um, to life in the United States of America, where they do things like that. Um, but then I sat down with my mom, and we I just told her how much I love her, and told her about an experience I had in rehab back in Palm Springs, where I had a 3-day experience that was one of the scariest experiences I've ever had in my life. But I'm just gonna say that for now. We'll talk about it later. I I want to tell you what happened when I was there. And it was not a bad rehab, and it was full of wonderful people. Um, who I really think were there trying to care for me. But I had a really terrible experience while I was there, and it doesn't haunt me to this day, but I think of it from time to time, and it's difficult to think about. And now it keeps. President Monson showed up during that time, not in physical person, but up above, and because it was a very scary time for me, and he seemed very rushed. But he kept saying how important it was. Um, and asked me if I would go out to the pool area. And then he asked me if I allowed him to, if he could baptize me. And I said yes. And that was good. Because then a little while later, or it was after, I can't remember, but in the visions and the experience that I was having, and I was just walking around, but the world came to an end. It was like a world war. It was just a lot of bombs. Kept hearing the bombs going off in the distance and thinking it's just a matter of time before they come, before they're going to be here. And then before I knew it, time had gone back a day, and I found myself in the exact same situation. I was walking around, and all the sequence of events and the things I was noticing and the bombs going off were happening in the exact same order. And I realized at first I was just responding the same way I had been the day before when the world ended. But enough things happened in the same order that it made me remember. I went, oh my gosh, this happened yesterday. I was just here. And then I looked forward in my mind and I remembered, oh my gosh, the world's going to end. And I was pissed. I was so upset. I thought, I'm not going to let that happen. I'm not going to let that happen. And I just started fighting fighting it. My mind was trying to find any way around anything to think or say or possibility that could maybe save the world. And um, about half of it was still destroyed, but the other half survived. And they didn't just survive, but they were uplifted. And they were giving out planets. It was like Oprah's G6 episode. It was like, you get a planet, and you get a planet, and you get a planet. And I was very proud of myself. It felt very good, even though it was still a very difficult experience, and I was still going through a very difficult experience. But then I think it was after that yeah, it was. I heard a friend of mine from college. I started hearing screaming, 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 and a friend of mine from college told me that the only way to save everyone I loved was to kill myself, and that I either had to climb into the fire pit or take off all my clothes and my worldly belongings. She kept saying, including your watch. You have to take off your watch. Um, and drown myself. I couldn't decide what to do. I couldn't decide if I needed to really do that or what to do. And then finally she said, make the same choice as Brian, who's this guy we went to college with. He had laid all his belongings out by the pool and drowned himself. And so I thought, okay, that gives me comfort because I really love and admire Brian. So that's what I'll do. So I took off all my clothes. I just ran. I just took them off. I took everything off. I jumped in the pool and I just started swallowing water as fast as I could. And on my way down, I started swallowing water, swallowing water, swallowing water, and then everything went dark for an instant, just went black. And then I was coming back up. And I emerged from the water and I thought, oh, I didn't even swallow that much water. I'm such a failure. I can't even drown myself. And one of the employees was coming running, and I was getting out of the pool. I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. They had to put me on suicide watch for a, a day and a half, maybe. I was just trying to save everyone that I loved because I couldn't stand to hear all their screaming. But this happened over the course of a few days. They'd given me all these medications, and I would take them as I'd feel fine, and I'd take the medication, and I'd start feeling all woozy and woozy. And then over the course of like 8 hours, I'd finally start to feel better. And then I'd take the medication again, feel all woozy again. And so I went up to the nurse. I said, this was before this had all happened. It was leading up to it. I said, um, I think we need to revisit my medication regimen because it is making me feel really weird. And I said, for lack of a better way of describing it, it just makes me feel like I'm on drugs, like I'm not high because it's a different feel. It's not this body high thing. It's all up here, but it makes me feel like I'm high. And she said, well, the doctor's in on Monday. He's not here. And, you just need to keep taking it until then when you can talk to him about it. And so I kept taking it. And then I had that whole experience. And in my head, I thought, did they drug me? Have they drugged me? It was so difficult. But some people say it was just a post-acute withdrawal syndrome experience. And then afterwards, they drug tested me, and I was like, good, I'm glad. That way they'll know it wasn't me. And then they sat me down and they went, so can you tell us why your drug test was positive? I'm like, nope. Can you? Can you tell me why it's positive? Because pretty sure I didn't use any drugs. It was very disheartening and discouraging experience to have the people I went to for care be that dishonest. And I kept thinking to myself the whole time I was there, I was like, I just wanted to go to rehab. I just wanted to get better. I just wanted to get better. I just came here to go to rehab. It was such a traumatizing experience. My life hasn't been the same ever since. Well, I guess I told you about most of it. There was more. There was more. It felt like hell. But I just kept going. I just tried to put it behind me. I just kept trying to get better. And I think I did a pretty good job. Anyways, so I was telling my mom about that today because we were talking about the last 3 years and what that's been like for us, and because I can see all the changes in her. She's really she's really struggled. And I struggled too, and I couldn't see past my own struggle, and now I feel like it's too late. I mean, it's never too late, right? I'm here. She's here. We're alive. We're healthy. We've got definitely some healing to do. But I just wish that I would have understood what was going on or had a better been more like kind of where I'm at now. But then that could have maybe helped. I hate this camera. It's seriously the worst camera. And I wanted to do it on my phone. Oh, it's plugged in. I'm gonna go grab it. But you have to have 1,000 subscribers in order to Facebook Live from your phone. I'm like, oh hey, sorry. Which is so stupid. But I wonder, I thought of this earlier today because I was thinking about this. Because someone in my head says that these videos aren't good quality enough, so they can't tell that it's me. I'm like, okay. um, but I'm like, what if I just logged in on the browser? Could I do it live from there? So I'm gonna check and see that right now. Go to videos. Oh, I look kind of cute in some of these. I'm not really that cute, but I'm not that ugly either. Okay, so no, you can't. Dang it. Well, anyways, I'm getting a new laptop for Christmas, and I swear I'm gonna try and get the nicest camera that I can for a laptop for $600. So fingers crossed for good Black Friday sales. And then you'll be able to tell it's me more. Hopefully. Even though it's me. Anyways, I can show you my driver's license. Here, I'll cover up my address. But look, see? Can you read? Of course you can read. See? Okay, see. Boom. Utah. I'm embarrassed that I just did that. This life. Anyways, moving on. I am embarrassed. Okay, so that happened today and I yeah. I'm just hoping that this whole life can come together. This life that we all share, you know. Um that I share with you, that it can all come together and we can all just get better together. I mean, we're in this together, we're better together. That we can grow up together, really step into our light and get honest. I'm like, I keep telling my head, I'm like, you guys need to get honest. This is one crazy, lying, manipulative, controlling, fearful, fear-based, I should say, world we live in. I'm like, I get it. I mean, I don't. I really don't. I don't get it at all. Because it's nothing like heaven. It's nothing like where everyone wants to go. um, but but I understand that that's where we seem to be at right now, and I'm like, "Okay, I get it. That's not okay, but it's fine." It's like, you guys just gotta start being honest, man. You gotta, like, let people talk to each other, and you gotta start just taking some risks, for the world, like, for your families, for yourselves, for each other, for your neighbors, for your children, and for God. Oh, duh. So I keep hoping for that. I keep hoping for that. And I have had some joy, some very happy emotional moments when I feel the energy all beaming. I'm like, okay, I still got it. I'm still like able to do that. And I just keep hoping that life will get better. I don't know if I mentioned, but my credit score went up 49 points this week. I have terrible credit. So it's gone up 91 points this year. So I feel really good about that. Um, I'm hoping to get it up more. But anyways, let's go ahead and read. So thank you for listening. And I'm so embarrassed that I pulled up my oh. I'm just so sick of people in my head telling me that they can't tell it's me. They can't tell it's me. We don't know it's him. We don't know it's him. I'm like, what? Oh, I watched Real Housewives of Salt Lake City tonight too. That was fun. I just watched on my phone in the spare bedroom. But or my mom's bedroom. So I have my dad's bedroom and my mom's bedroom. But when I'm here, my mom sleeps downstairs in the spare bedroom and I sleep in her bedroom. So it's just how they like it. So oh, it was interesting to watch. It was cool. I really like Jen Shah. My friend Pang is friends with her, and I actually saw him last night at work at California Pizza Kitchen. He came in with a bunch of other friends. I knew a few of them, but you can tell she's a really loving person, and I think all of them are actually really great, and I think some of them have been. You can tell they're all going through some shit, and or they've been through some shit, and I mean, for like wealthy, you know, women, that you know, there's more than meets the eye. So that doesn't mean people haven't been through some shit, and that they don't have a lot that they're trying to get through and trying to help each other with, and it can be dramatic sometimes. I get that. So, anyways, I think I'm gonna keep watching because I really enjoyed it. But so thank you, Andy Cohen. Oh, the journey back. Oh, okay. So we just finished the body as a means of communication, and today we're going to do the body as a means or an end, which kind of scares me, but let's watch. Okay, or listen, I mean. Attitudes toward the body are attitudes toward attack. The ego's definitions of anything are childish and are always based on what it believes the thing is for. This is because it is incapable of true generalizations. and equates what it sees with the function it ascribes to it. It does not equate it with what it is. To the ego, the body is to attack with. Equating you with the body, it teaches you that you are to attack with. The body then is not the source of its own health. The body's condition lies solely in your interpretation of its function. Functions are part of being since they arise from it, but the relationship is not reciprocal. The whole does define the part, but the part does not define the whole. Yet, to know in part is to know entirely because of the fundamental difference between knowledge and perception. In perception, the whole is built up of parts that can separate and reassemble in different constellations, but knowledge never changes. So its constellation is permanent. The idea of part whole relationships has meaning only at the level of perception, where change is possible. Otherwise, there is no difference between the part and the whole. The body exists in a world that seems to contain two voices fighting for its possession. In this perceived constellation, the body is seen as capable of shifting its allegiance from one to the other, making the concepts of both health and sickness meaningful. The ego makes a fundamental confusion between means and end, as it always does. Regarding the body as an end, the ego has no real use for it because it is not an end. You must have noticed an outstanding characteristic of every end that the ego has accepted as its own. When you have achieved it, it has not satisfied you. This is why the ego is forced to shift ceaselessly from one goal to another, so that you will continue to hope it can yet offer you something. It has been particularly difficult to overcome the ego's belief in the body as an end, because it is synonymous with the belief in attack as an end. The ego has a profound investment in sickness. If you are sick, how can you object to the ego's firm belief that you are not invulnerable? This is an appealing argument from the ego's point of view because it obscures the obvious attack that underlies the sickness. If you recognize this and also decided against attack, you could not give this false witness to the ego's stand. It is hard to perceive sickness as a false witness because you do not realize that it is entirely out of keeping with what you want. This witness then appears to be innocent and trustworthy because you have not seriously cross examined him. If you had, you would not consider sickness such a strong witness on behalf of the ego's views. A more honest statement would be that those who want the ego are predisposed to defend it. Therefore, their choice of witnesses should be suspect from the beginning. The ego does not call upon witnesses who would disagree with its case, nor does the Holy Spirit. I have said that judgment is the function of the Holy Spirit, and one he is perfectly equipped to fulfill. The ego, as a judge, gives anything but an impartial judgment. When the ego calls on a witness, it has already made the witness an ally. It is still true that the body has no function of itself because it is not an end. The ego, however, establishes it as an end because, as such, its true function is obscured. That this is the purpose of everything the ego does. Its sole aim is to lose sight of the function of everything. A sick body does not make any sense. It could not make sense because sickness is not what the body is for. Sickness is meaningful only if the two basic premises on which the ego's interpretation of the body rests are true. That that the body is for attack and that you are a body. Without these premises, sickness is inconceivable. Sickness is a way of demonstrating that you can be hurt. It is a witness to your frailty, your vulnerability, and your extreme need to depend on external guidance. The ego uses this as its best argument for your need for its guidance. It dictates endless prescriptions for avoiding catastrophic outcomes. The Holy Spirit, perfectly aware of the same situation, does not bother to analyze it at all. If data are meaningless, there is no point in analyzing them. The function of truth is to collect information that is true. Any way you handle error results in nothing. The more complicated the results become, the harder it may be to recognize their nothingness, but it is not necessary to examine all possible outcomes to which premises give rise in order to judge them truly. A learning device is not a teacher. It cannot tell you how you feel. You do not know how you feel because you have accepted the ego's confusion, and that you therefore believe that a learning device can tell you how you feel. Sickness is merely another example of your insistence on asking guidance of a teacher who does not know the answer. The ego is incapable of knowing how you feel. When I said that the ego does not know anything, I said the one thing about the ego that is wholly true. But there is a corollary. If only knowledge has being and the ego has no knowledge, then ego has no being. You might well ask how the voice of something that does not exist can be so insistent. Have you thought about the distorting power of something you want, even if it is not real? There are many instances of how what you want distorts perception. No one can doubt the ego's skill in building up false cases, nor can anyone doubt your willingness to listen until you choose not to accept anything except truth. When you lay the ego aside, it will be gone. The Holy Spirit's voice is as loud as your willingness to listen. It cannot be louder without violating your freedom of choice, which the Holy Spirit seeks to restore, never to undermine. The Holy Spirit teaches you to use your body only to reach your brothers, so he can teach his message through you. This will heal them and therefore heal you. Everything used in accordance with its function as the Holy Spirit sees it cannot be sick. Very important. Everything used in accordance with its function as the Holy Spirit sees it cannot be sick. So the Holy Spirit teaches us to use our bodies, right, to connect. We talked about this. To reach only to reach our brothers and sisters. Okay, so he can teach his message through you. Okay, everything used in accordance with its function, as the Holy Spirit sees it, cannot be sick. So if we can acknowledge that this body is the Holy Spirit is using this body to reach our brothers and sisters. Okay, so he can teach his message through this, okay? Which I'm not very good at. I need help. Okay, I need someone to help me do this. Um, if we can use this in accordance with its function as the Holy Spirit sees it, it cannot be sick. Okay, and that's not just the body, the body. Okay, so it takes two. So if I were using my body as the Holy Spirit sees it to connect with a brother or a sister, now they are also using their body as the Holy Spirit sees it, right? So now we're both using our body. So all we need to do is allow his message to be taught through us, and we can help each other do that, right? And if we can move truer and truer in accordance with how he sees that, the body will no longer be sick, nor will the mind, because it's going through the mind. Healing is of the mind, but he uses our body to do it so that it's like a twofer, right? Cool. We can heal the body and the mind at the same time just by acknowledging that we aren't a body, but that the body's true purpose is to connect our minds so the Holy Spirit can teach the message through us. So everything used otherwise is. Do not allow the body to be a mirror of a split mind. Do not let it be an image of your own perception of littleness. Do not let it reflect your decision to attack. I'm working on this. I'm working on this. And so thank you. Sorry. Health is seen as the natural state of everything when interpretation is left to the Holy Spirit, who perceives no attack on anything. Health is the result of relinquishing all attempts to use the body lovelessly. Health is the beginning of the proper perspective on life under the guidance of the one teacher who knows what life is, being the voice for life itself. Well, that's a really beautiful lesson. I'm so happy that we read that. I'm very happy that we read that. Well, the battery's low. I would do some commentary, but the laptop's going to die. So I hope you have a wonderful night. Thank you for letting me cry and just embarrass myself, which I do every night. And I will see you tomorrow. I love you. Thank you.